These are two wonderful readings, and the gospel in particular is a parable that is complex, but it really does have to do with the ways in which God has entrusted to us his grace, that we not just keep it to ourselves. In the next 2 weeks, we will be closing another year of grace, and with the solemnity of Christ the King and Thanksgiving, families and individuals look forward to summarizing our lives before the Lord. In Jesus' gospel parable, he reminds us of God's grace entrusted to us in faith, and he challenges us to risk multiplying that grace in the time allotted to us on this earth, especially by following in his footsteps. So here's an example of one man who boldly lived and shared his faith. He's a convert too. In 1908, the famous Anglo-French historian and writer Hilaire Belloc ran for the British Parliament. His opponents tried to scare off his supporters by claiming that Belloc's faithfulness to the Catholic Church would inhibit him from serving them. Belloc responded in a speech, and this is a quote. He said, "Gentlemen, I am a Catholic," something to say in England at the time. "I go to Mass every day." This, taking his beads out of his pocket, is a rosary. As far as possible, I kneel down and tell the beads every day. If you reject me on account of my religion, I shall thank God for having spared me the indignity of being your representative. I love that. The crowd was shocked for a minute, and then they burst into applause. Belloc went on to win that election and many more. If Catholics cannot bring Christ's wisdom, goodness, and grace into our society, what do we have to offer? In St. Peter's Square, there stands an ancient Egyptian obelisk. By the way, it says on the base, it says, Christus vincit, Christus regnat, Christus imperat. Christ conquers, Christ reigns, Christ is supreme in his kingdom. This obelisk is a single block of granite, 100 feet high, weighing 330 tons. And it dates back to 1850 before Christ. It was erected as a monument to the Pharaoh in Egypt. It watched over almost 2,000 years of Egyptian history. The Roman Emperor Caligula brought it to Rome as a sign of Rome's superior power over Egypt. The Emperor Nero placed it atop his Circus Magnus on Vatican Hill. And there it stood for 4 centuries. It stood in the arena where St. Peter himself was martyred and may have been the last thing that he saw before he died, along with hundreds of other early Christians. When the barbarians invaded in the 400s, they toppled the obelisk. They left it in ruins. When St. Peter's Basilica was rebuilt and expanded, Pope Sixtus V had the obelisk moved and re-erected in the center of the plaza. No longer is it a reminder of the long perished empires of Egypt and Rome and the barbarians. Now it is topped with a bronze cross. And the inside of that bronze cross is a small fragment of the true cross, the cross on which our Lord was crucified. Now it serves the universal kingdom that will have no end, the kingdom of Jesus Christ. These last days of the church year are a wonderful time for us to do a spiritual inventory, because someday we will all stand before the Lord himself. And he'll ask you, what did you do with that gold coin of God's grace that has been entrusted to you?